Welcome back. So I've been asked again a couple of times this week, why do we get messages wrong from the spirit world? So in this video, that's what we'll be talking about. So again, I'm a big believer that if you're receiving the information in some way, it's down to maybe two things that is giving you the belief that your message is wrong. You have to remember sometimes the message could be very profound. If you're a medium that's going above and beyond of they're here to support you, they send you love, here's a flower, and go about your day. If you're trying to dial in a message, like a really profound message, I think we have to bear in mind as the demonstrator or as the medium, how profound that message can be. You know, it could be potentially life changing. And I'm not saying like we should be saying like terrible things, you know, like leave him or her, or you're gonna pass soon, or anything like that. Maybe that's another video we need to cover. But it certainly it could be about getting their mind in the right place, healing to take place, guidance to take place. And that can be a very profound thing for a client, for a person. I don't know if you've ever been on the receiving end of a message like that. And it may be hard to hear. It may be so life changing that maybe they've got to change their surroundings in some way, or they have to be a different person. You know, they may have to be that version of themselves that they see inside their head but aren't strong enough or courageous enough to express themselves in that way. So the simple get out of that situation, whether it be in a one-to-one sitting or across a demonstration, can be just to say no, and you have to appreciate that's the standpoint that they are, and pretty much no matter what you do, you're not going to turn that no into a yes. You know, there is another variation. Maybe you've picked something up and you've said it slightly in the wrong way. And this usually happens because we do it throughout the demonstration. You know, as we're working with a communicator, we say things wrong and we repackage that information, and the client will then absolutely go, do you know what, that's it, that's exactly what it is. Can't believe I didn't think of that. And just for a repackage, we offer it, and the client is happy. Exactly the same with the message. The message, you're using the interpretation in exactly the same way. It's the same database, and maybe you've just got to repackage what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you're seeing, in a way that the client is happy to take it. You know, we can fall into a trap of just signing off. You know, it's becoming very modern or very fashionable, just to thank the client. You know, thanks for letting me work with your mum. Thanks for letting me work with your fill in the blank. And then just move on because there is no message, or they're not finishing off with a message. And this is becoming very normal now. However, I am still of that way, and I do like to give them like a proper sign off, and you know, your mum's here to say, or your dad's here to say, or whatever. And then from there, I try and guide it or give it the best ending I possibly can in that sense. But I have to interpret it in the way that I do the rest of the information. And sometimes that's not on point, and sometimes I get that wrong. And sometimes I have to offer a repackage, and at that point they accept it. And that's going to be no different. So to the viewers that are asking, why do I get messages wrong? Why is the client not accepting it? Let's just swap the roles round. How would it feel with what you're saying? You as a client in front of 20 people, you as a client in front of 150 people. Is it a little bit too dialed in? Would it be uncomfortable? And if it is, then you're in a position, because you are the voice, where you can maybe soften that a little bit. If you are a little bit concerned with what you're about to say, obviously, I will definitely have to do another video on it, about what is ethically right from a platform or from a medium. But if you feel it's a little bit edgy and you're uncomfortable doing it, then take baby steps up to it till the client's there. You know, I reckon 90% of my clientele, that when I've worked with them, I reckon most of them say, Charlie, you tell me exactly how it is. And the reality is, if I actually went and did that, I'd probably upset a lot of people, or it wouldn't quite go how I imagine it to go. So there is this stepping into the message process. Again, that's no different to how we work with a communicator. We sort of draw them in and we step into it. We're building confidence into it, and allowing our mind that space for them to give us that idea, and then once we're confident, we're up and running, and we're just giving these big statements off. But in the first instance, we're walking our way into it. The message is going to be exactly the same. You're not sure. The dilution rate of you and your ego is going to be very much within there, and of course you want it to be right. And so you're worrying about what if I'm wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if the message is incorrect? And if we do that every link, then it's going to start to become the norm for you. And then at that point, that's just going to be the way that you work from that moment onwards, until someone pulls it up or dials it in, or highlights it to you that needs a little bit of attention for you to get your mind back in the right place. So I don't think the messages are wrong, or I don't think you're getting them wrong. I think it's down to those two things. I think maybe offer a repackage and it would tidy it up nicely for you, and the client will absolutely say yes after that, because the spirit world are not going to give you it wrong. Or maybe it's a little bit too much for a public demonstration, or a one-to-one. Maybe it's a bit too much. Maybe they're embarrassed about what you're saying, or you're maybe a little bit too close to the mark, so the easy option is for them to say no. There is also one last variation there, which I would like to think you're all honest with yourself and you're not really doing that, but I have seen it and it is out there, and that is that you're dialing in not via the spirit world, but you've gone into a psyche kind of sensitive reading. You're looking for it, you're in the energy of the client, and that maybe the client's just feeling a little bit like you're being a little bit intrusive there, and so the simple way out is no. So I think that covers this video on this one. Like it if you like it, get in the comments. We all know this helps the channel. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll catch you in the next video.